Well, good Taco Tuesday morning, friends. Mark Holmes here, of course, with my buddy Cowboy Joe Boo, as well as Joe Bear in the house. And as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally doesn't work. So let's get open to business here, and let's wake up the football gods today. Boy, I've got so much stuff that's going on here. It's the offseason for the Cowboys. We are joining the Giants, the Eagles, and Washington on the couch. It's almost comical to me how all my kids are coming out the woodwork and stuff. You know, Skins fan all day. I ain't heard from him since we kicked their ass at FedEx Field. He sends me this picture where he looks like Bill the Cat, with this crazy look on it. You got Philly 500, welcome to merry choke season for the Dallas Cowboys. And then you got Cop Pizzle, doing Cop Pizzle things. But it's okay because you know what? We kicked all you mother humpers' ass. So take that home with you. Take that home with you. As much as you say you're so sorry you were one and done in the playoffs, just keep in mind we beat you motherfuckers like a drum. So, interesting things. I've said before, this team that we have right here, right now, will never be this team ever again. It is going to change. It's going to evolve. You're going to have people that are leaving, people that are coming in. Some of that process starts right now because we have the entourage of the Denver Broncos that are coming to Dallas to interview Kellen Moore and Dan Quinn. From there, they'll go to other places and interview other coaches and coordinators as well as they try and make their decision. Kellen Moore, of course, is the hot candidate because the Dolphins want to talk to him, the Vikings and the Bears, as well as Dan Quinn. Now, I had hoped that Dan Quinn was one of those guys that said, I've been a head coach and I really don't like all the pressure, that I'd rather work with the players and be a coordinator. That's my true love, is developing the next great ones. I did that in Seattle with the Richard Shermans, the KJ Wrights and things, and built that defense in my image. And now I'm able to do that with Dallas. But I can't begrudge a guy for wanting to use the platform he has to achieve even more. And right now, Dan Quinn's stock is about as high as it can be. I'm not sure about Kellen Moore. This is, I literally woke up in the middle of the night thinking about this because you have to question, because, the first half of the season, we have things that happen that change, and we'll go through some of those things, dynamics. But you have to look at the first half of the season when the offense was really humming, the play calling seemed to be more dynamic, to the second half where it seemed like it wasn't quite there. And then you looked at it here in the playoffs, and you kind of wonder what the hell happened? Some of that's injuries, some of that's play calling, some of that's scheming against us. There's a lot of different things, but you have to be able to react to those different situations. And last night it was difficult watching the Cardinals and the Rams, knowing that the Cowboys had lost. Seeing the Rams, and shout out to you, Ramalama, congratulations on getting Matthew Stafford. You guys look like you're primed for a run and so on. I got to man up and say, good job. Because all of the home teams kicked ass this weekend, with the exception of the Dallas Cowboys. We looked like trash. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you want to say it was just Dak, it wasn't. It was the offensive line that couldn't open up holes for the running backs. It was 14 penalties that were called against us. It was the defense that gave up 169 yards passing. It was the Sun coming in that we lost, a wide receiver. He literally just whited out. It was everything. It was the whole team. To me, it almost felt like the rich kid syndrome, where the rich kid got all the money, got all the toys. He's entitled. He doesn't want for anything. And then you get the kids that have not had, that come over and they see all the great stuff that you have, and they're pissed off and they punch you in the mouth. That's what it felt like. So with Kellen Moore, my question is, I don't know that it really hurt him that much, because you look at Sean McVay and Kyle Shanahan and understand that they were coordinators for the Washington football team, coaches there. Didn't seem to hurt them being there, becoming head coaches. So it probably won't hurt Kellen Moore. You know, he's one of the hotties. How he's a hotter commodity than, say, Eric Bieniemy or Brian Leftwich. You know, guys that you see the greatness in their offenses where they're working sometimes with a lot less. I don't know. But be it as it may, you could stand to lose both of them, or neither of them, or one of them, which will change the dynamics of the team. But my question with Kellen Moore is Kellen Moore a genius in play calling that's just making these guys become the number one offense? Or is it that he just had just great players and just had to not fuck it up? I think about Norv Turner, who, you know, everybody looked at and said, man, he's a genius. Well, he is really, really good. But when you had the best offensive line in football, a Hall of Fame, you know, offensive lineman, you had a Hall of Fame wide receiver, you had a Hall of Fame quarterback, you had a Hall of Fame running back. It's kind of easier to call plays when you have all that going for you. You know what I'm saying? If you have great talent, chances are you're going to have guys that beat others one-on-one, in which case most of the plays you're going to call works. And I think for Kellen Moore, a lot of that success is because of the players that you have around him. Dak Prescott doesn't throw a whole lot of interceptions. You got Amari Cooper. You got a CeeDee Lamb. You had a Michael Gallup. You had a decent offensive line there for a while. That it's easier to call those plays with those guys. It may not be the same if you're going to the Bears because you now don't have the talent. This is where you're scheming and coaching to get guys that have lesser talent to be able to perform. And hence the reason why you see a lot of coordinators that are great in one place and deemed a genius, they go someplace else and they fail because they don't have the same talent. I'll give you another one, and DMV will be mad at me for this. But Alvin Harper, when he was with the Cowboys, going across the middle, looked like straight butter. You were like, man, that guy is one hell of a receiver. But again, he benefited from having Michael Irvin out there. He benefited from having Jay Novacek. He benefited from having Troy Aikman throwing him the ball and Emmitt Smith running the football. He gets paid big money to go to Tampa to be the man, and without that supporting cast there, it didn't work. It just didn't work. And so this is where you look at where Kellen Moore, I'm not sure he's ready to be that head coach. On the other end of the spectrum, you look at Dan Quinn, who came here with the worst defense. You didn't look at that defense that we had last year and say, the other teams saying, I want that guy, that guy, that guy, and that guy. You didn't. You didn't go out there and pay, $14, $15 million per free agent to bring in firepower. You went through the draft and said, I want that guy, that guy, that guy. And you went in free agency, bottom basement shopping, and said, I want that guy, that guy, that guy. And you took all these pieces and literally in one season went from 29th to 7th on defense. There's still work to be done. You still don't have all the parts. But to make that kind of a move in 1 year and to take a rookie and make him the first rookie in 25 years to get 13, or more than 10 sacks, he gets 13, and more than 80 tackles is unbelievable. To take a cornerback in his second year and he gets 11 interceptions, the most in 25 years, you look at that and say, that guy can coach. He can coach with nothing. So if you ask me who's a hotter candidate, it's Dan Quinn. It's Dan Quinn. And if the Cowboys lose him, that will be major. Jerry Jones has already gone on board and basically said that Mike McCarthy is coming back. And as I said, this team's going to change. Amari Cooper was asked today about his status because, see, here's where we have a problem. Currently, the Dallas Cowboys, as constituted for the players that are signed, are $13 million over the cap. Now, that's not the end of the world because you can restructure contracts. There's a lot of them that you could, but some of them that you really don't want to. Tyron Smith is a $17 million cap hit. Do you really want to kick more money down the road for a guy who just missed another 7 games and all but 2 games of the year before and has missed a minimum of 3 games every year since 2016? You got D-Law, who's a $27 million cap. You certainly could pull some of that money back out of his, but do you want to keep kicking that can down the road? And then there's Amari Cooper, who you could just cut and only have about a $3 million cap hit and save about $18 million. Amari Cooper was asked, with 3 years left on his contract, if he'll be back. His response is, I don't control that. I hope to be back, but I don't know. And that's the life of an NFL player. What I can say is Dak wants him back. Dak wants all his receivers back. He wants to keep that group together. The dynamics, though, of money are going to dictate what you can and cannot do. Because if you do keep Tyron Smith, Lyle Collins, Amari Cooper, DeMarcus Lawrence, with your 26 free agents, you can't keep them. So you have some hard decisions that have to be made. And going into next year with Mike McCarthy basically already being told that, he's coming back, you got to look at this and say he's on the hot seat. So we'll end this morning session here listening to Max Kellerman and Keyshawn.
I think you say going into. I would say Max going into 2022. Well, I would say Max going into 2022.
No, I'm saying like right now. Like right now, going into the next season.
Yeah, that's what I said. Going into 2022, I would say he would be at the max because the expectations are going to grow so significant that he needs to get them in the same situation, only next time he needs to win the game. And especially if everybody comes back, meaning Dan Quinn, Kellen Moore, along with Mike McCarthy and his football team, the heat is going to be on him. There's no question about it.
Yeah, I would say to Max, especially with the way they lost going down the stretch to teams outside the NFC East, and Max, if they lose Dan Quinn defensively, like who will he replace that with? How will that relationship continue to build between him and Kellen Moore? Like all this is stuff that we're paying attention to a max degree next year.
I'm saying a 50 at best, and you know how I feel. He should be coach for life for the Dallas Cowboys. But
Come on, man.
But like the division ain't gonna be any good next year.
Come on, Max.
Again.
We had them at a max
division,
this damn year.
Like the Eagles will get a little better. The Eagles didn't beat not even a single good team this year.
We had them at a max this year. You don't
I
think
know,
they're going to
but
be at a max next year?
But what the Cowboys are showing is that they are going to ride with their guy. He's in his second year of a 4-year deal. So is Jerry going to eat the last 2 years of this deal?
No, but
in a weak division, they're probably going to win again.
Every year.
Hey, let me have our producer jump in real here. Evan, what do you think's going to happen in terms of what's going on with the max and what the Cowboys are going to do?
I think Mike McCarthy should be out of a job today.
Amen.
There you go.
Evan,
to the max.
Evan, we don't want him out of a job. We want him right where he is.
No, I want the Cowboys to be good.
Yeah, of course. Jets fan. Hating on the Giants.
Great.
Cliff Kingsbury, 0-50 or to the max. Hot seat going into next season, Jay.
I say to the max. Listen to this, Key. Did some research. All the way back to his Texas Tech days. 2013.
Here we go.
Lost his last 5 of 6. You'll love this. 14, lost his last 4 of 6. 15, last 4 of 6. 16, lost 6 of 8 down the stretch.
Well, we're going to end it on that one. But Cliff Kingsbury, he's not our problem. We got our own problems here with Mike McCarthy, Dan Quinn, and crew. I'll have more things later on today because there's perception and then there's reality of things. The perception is that the Dallas Cowboys are full of talent, best offensive line in football, because literally I was reading Pro Football Focus ranked the Dallas Cowboys offensive line the best in football. And I don't know how in the world you could do that. But then statistics, you can prove anything you want to. You can manipulate numbers, and that's exactly what they did. And I'll go into that more later on. Then there's the fallout here about the trash that was flying there at AT&T Stadium with Dak Prescott. I was actually talking with Philip on that one, and I got to do some more. I got to watch the whole interview from Dak Prescott from there to get the clips and things for it, and try to write the record of exactly what happened. we're dealing with the aftermath, and we are autopsying the body that is the 2021 season. And we've got a lot to go on how we fix the Dallas Cowboys. I'm Mark Holmes, and as always, I appreciate you guys.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Sports Report.